Basketball fans, what's going on? Welcome into NBA Now from Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther, and today I'm breaking down 3 players that could be moved before the NBA trade deadline. We're going to start this one off with Jrue Holiday of the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, according to Marc Stein, one of the best NBA reporters out there, he's saying that Holiday is available for trade, but it would take a lot for the Pelicans to move him. Now, in that same report, he said that JJ Redick is not available. Pelicans are not looking to move the sharpshooting veteran. But Jrue Holiday, he's ready to be dealt if the Pelicans get the right deal. Now, the only team that's really been closely associated with Jrue Holiday is the Denver Nuggets, and we'll get into what might make sense from them here in just a little bit. But Holiday did sign a big deal pretty recently. He has 3 years, $80 million left on that deal. However, he's proving himself to be worth that with the numbers he's been putting up this year. He's averaging nearly 20 points per game, 7 assists, and 5 boards. The three-point shot hasn't really looked that great this year, but it'll come around. Now, defensively, Jrue Holiday is one of the most versatile guards in the NBA. We already know that to be true, but the numbers speak for themselves. However, the Pelicans have 3 guys that Stein says they are not willing to move. Look, the Pelicans have not been good this year, not at all. But of course, Zion Williamson is out, the number 1 overall pick, and that hurts them a lot. But the other guys that are untouchable, like I said, JJ Redick, he will not be going anywhere during the NBA trade deadline. And Brandon Ingram, who's honestly a candidate for the Most Improved Player of the Year award for the Pelicans, even though his game hasn't been translating to wins for New Orleans. Now, basketball fans, Christmas is right around the corner. You need to get some gifts. You need to go holiday shopping. So our ad sponsors at Fanatics are hooking you up with an incredible deal. You can get NBA jerseys. Maybe you want a Pelicans jersey. Maybe you want this James Harden jersey. You can get it for less than $70. Maybe you want something for yourself. Maybe you need something for the basketball fan in your life. Go get that with our partners at Fanatics. That's chatsports.com/NBA sale. Right now, put that in your browser. Go type it in. Go get this deal. Get yourself a jersey for less than $70. Let's continue with this Jrue Holiday story. Now, the potential suitors that actually make sense for Holiday, there's 4 teams that come off the top of my head right away. The Denver Nuggets, number 1. We already mentioned them. The Miami Heat, number 2. Now, they've got Dragic. They've got Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn, but maybe they want an upgrade. They go for Holiday. Philadelphia 76ers. Maybe we could see Jrue Holiday return to the land of Philadelphia because, let's face it, they need another point guard. They need someone that can shoot and defend. And then the Orlando Magic. The one thing that's always been missing for the Magic is a point guard. That's what Holiday can become. But I said it at the top of this part, Denver makes the most sense. So I came up with a little trade idea to throw at you right here. Jrue Holiday and a 2020 second-round pick from the Milwaukee Bucks goes to Denver. So that second-round pick from New Orleans is actually Milwaukee's, which means it'll be, 55 to 60 range. That goes to Denver. That's their big get in Jrue Holiday. The Nuggets send a pretty nice package to the Pelicans. Gary Harris, Malik Beasley, Torrey Craig, and a 2022 first-round pick. Now, Gary Harris, a really high-quality player, a quality starter. He can come in as a 6-man. Malik Beasley's not really getting minutes in the Nuggets rotation, but he's a good young piece. And Torrey Craig is a guy that the Pelicans actually like a lot. The Nuggets like a lot and would make a lot of sense for the Pelicans. Here's what you could see if Jrue Holiday ends up in Denver. You got Jamal Murray and Jrue Holiday in the backcourt, along with Will Barton and Paul Millsap as your 2 forwards. And, of course, Nikola Jokic is the big man in the middle anchoring the Nuggets. Now, there you go. You got a true big 3 right there with Holiday, Murray, and Nikola Jokic, and then some quality pieces in Will Barton and Paul Millsap as well. So here begs the question, which team should be the favorite to win the Western Conference this year? Obviously, both the LA teams are playing at a high level. If Denver gets Jrue Holiday, hey, maybe that's a title contender right there. The Dallas Mavericks are in the top 4 right now. But let me know in the comment section below, who is your favorite to win the West right now? Let's get into my second player that could be moved before the NBA trade deadline. It's Myles Turner of the Indiana Pacers. Now, this came out pretty recently that the Pacers do not view Turner as a long-term fit next to Domantas Sabonis, which comes as a surprise to me because they really wanted them together for so long. He did sign a 4-year, $80 million deal in 2018. That's going to go through the year 2022. He's got some money left on his contract. And here's the deal, plain and simple. Myles Turner just hasn't lived up to that contract this year. The Pacers are playing at a really high level, but Myles Turner hasn't really been a huge part of that. Now, 11.3 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, that's solid. That's not worth the money he's getting. However, the block shots, that's where he has his bread and butter, 2.4 block shots per game. He's also been known as a stretch 5, but truly he hasn't shown that. He's only been shooting 33.7% from beyond the three-point arc in Indiana this season. Now, the big thing here is that these two just aren't a fit, Myles Turner and Domantas Sabonis. And the guy you can see that they clearly value more right now is Sabonis for obvious reasons. Look at the numbers. 18 points per game and 13.3 boards for Sabonis in Indiana right now. Now, look, he's not stretching the floor like Turner is. He's not a defensive player like Myles Turner is. But originally in the offseason, it was, hey, we're looking to move Domantas Sabonis. Now, they're shifting that thought, and they're saying, hey, we're ready to move on from Myles Turner because we know that Domantas Sabonis is a long-term piece here in Indiana. Now, NBA fans, if you want all the latest and greatest NBA trade rumors before the deadline rolls around, you need to hit that subscribe button. Be subscribed here to youtube.com/chatsportstv. Chat Sports is really the best place to get any NBA videos, NBA trade rumors, whatever it may be, and it's the fastest, most interactive channel on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button. Help us out here at Chat Sports. Now let's get into my first trade idea for Myles Turner here. Going to the Boston Celtics. The Celtics really do need a rim protector. I mean, Al Horford is gone now. They've got Enes Kanter in there, who's a great offensive player. He's not defensive. Vincent Poirier, Robert Williams, So here's what I've got. Boston gets Myles Turner straight up. The Indiana Pacers get Marcus Smart, which is obviously a big piece of the Celtics' success. But they get Smart, Vincent Poirier, and then a 2020 first-round pick from the Celtics, which will likely be a late first-round pick. And here's what the Boston Celtics lineup looks like with Myles Turner manning the middle. Of course, Kemba Walker and Jaylen Brown in the backcourt. That's an impressive backcourt duo because Kemba's playing at an all-star level. Jaylen Brown's playing at a really improved level at 19.3 points per game. Gordon Hayward's come back from injury. He's looked like the Utah Jazz version of Gordon Hayward at times. Jason Tatum, of course, putting up nearly 21 points per game. And then in the middle, you've got your defensive anchor in Myles Turner. I'm a big fan of this lineup for the Celtics. I know it means giving up Marcus Smart, but in all reality, I think it's worth it if you're the Celtics because you've already got Jaylen Brown. You don't really need Marcus Smart as bad as you need a rim protector like Myles Turner. So here's a big question for the Celtics, and really all the Celtics fans are asking themselves, is Boston really a title contender this year? Type Y for yes, type N for no in the comment section because obviously you've got Milwaukee out in the East, and then after that, you got a bunch of really good teams like Miami, Toronto Raptors. But can Boston be a true title contender? Let me know in the comment section below what you think. And hey, maybe you're confident enough in saying, yes, they are title contenders. Why don't you go put some money on it? Put your money where your mouth is with BetDSI. Use the promo code NBA120 to get a 120% deposit bonus when you go to chatsports.com/bet. Our partners at BetDSI are going to hook you up with that promo. It's a great deal. If you're confident in your NBA team this year, you're going to want to use BetDSI to put those bets down. Let's get into the last player that I think could be traded this year in the NBA, Julius Randle of the New York Knicks. Look, the Knicks have an abundance of power forwards, and Julius Randle, skill-wise, is probably their best one. However, he's putting up the numbers, but the fit just isn't there. I've heard from multiple Knicks fans. They watch Julius Randle play basketball, and he looks like a guard or a power forward trying to be a point guard, and that just does not work. He also hasn't been playing great defense for the Knicks this year, so they may be ready to move on from him. They may be listening to offers around the deadline. Here are the numbers he's putting up: 17.4 points per game, nearly 9 rebounds, a good amount of assists at 3.4, but he's not stretching the floor at all at 26.2% from beyond the three-point arc. Look, like I said earlier, the Knicks have an abundance of those power forwards. They don't need Julius Randle on this roster as much as they once did because there's just so many big guys and there's not enough minutes to go around. Here's what their power forward depth looks like right now. Of course, it's Julius Randle, Taj Gibson, and Marcus Morris. 3 power forwards, all 3 of those guys start, and then you got Bobby Portis coming off the bench as well. Here's another little fun fact for you. These 4 power forwards are also the Knicks' 4 highest paid players. So it's absolutely ridiculous. You got to get rid of at least one going into the deadline. So I'm saying, hey, let's send Randle off to a young team. Let him be a building block for someone like the Charlotte Hornets. Here's a little trade I cooked up here. Julius Randle and Reggie Bullock, who has not played a game yet, go to the Charlotte Hornets. And the Knicks take a gamble on a young player like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. They say, hey, maybe we can add him to a deal with, or add him to our core of RJ Barrett, Frank Ntilikina, and then Dwayne Bacon as well, who's a good prospect, a good athletic young guy. And then Boston's 2020 second-round pick goes to the Knicks as well. Because Randle's a good player. You can't just give him up for nothing. You get 2 young projects and a second-round pick. So here's what the Hornets would look like with Julius Randle. Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham in the backcourt, which nobody would have predicted that. Terry Rozier was signed for $1 million bajillion too much. And then Devontae Graham, it looks like the better point guard anyway. Miles Bridges is the forward with PJ Washington, the rookie, who's hurt right now, but he could start at power forward next to Julius Randle as a center. I think it makes sense, but I want to get a little crazier with these trade ideas. So this is a little bit bigger one. The Minnesota Timberwolves and New York Knicks make a deal. Now, Timberwolves are reportedly interested in Dennis Smith Jr., so they get DSJ, Julius Randle, and Wayne Ellington for Robert Covington, Keita Bates-Diop, Jake Layman, and Gorgui Dieng. It's a lot of moving pieces, but there's a lot of quality talent being, traded here in this deal to both teams. The Knicks get guys like Covington and Bates-Diop, and even Jake Layman are good young pieces, while the Timberwolves get 2 new starters on their team. Here's what a starting lineup could look like if this trade did happen. Dennis Smith Jr., he gets a fresh start in Minnesota. He gets the starting point guard position next to Jarrett Culver, the rookie out of Texas Tech. Andrew Wiggins is honestly playing at an all-star level at 25 points per game. And then Julius Randle's the starting power forward next to Karl Anthony Towns, who of course is their star, their main guy in this lineup. I like this deal a lot for both teams. I think it makes more sense for the Minnesota Timberwolves to do it. But here's the big question with Julius Randle. Which team should trade for him? Let me know in the comment section below. I like the Minnesota Timberwolves deal, but let me know what you think in the comment section.